pass a class one time because...
Where is this going?
Well, I'm just saying. I know. You've heard my stories.
Just, hey, when he says I shouldn't say this, just let him roll.
Back off. That's rule one.
If you were at the school I went to, I won't name the school I went to, but you know, if you've been here long enough, there was a professor who got incarcerated halfway through a semester.
Holy crap! DUI?
For what?
It was something north of a DUI.
Okay. But DUI was mild compared to this?
But it happened in Birmingham. But that person, I won't say gender, got incarcerated.
Oh, boy, I tell you, I was going, dude. I was 100%. I was 100%
can't believe it was a girl.
Yeah.
And so our choice was, you can retake. We're about halfway through now. You could retake the class next semester, and there obviously we give you your money back, or you could take your current grade. Well, my current grade was a C, and I was like, done. Take it. I'll take that C, and I'm out.
You could have bailed her out. That would have been brownie points right there.
Yeah, Dr. Suco. That was my first Spanish. My second Spanish was Dr. Suco. Her son Mike now runs Coca-Cola. Our friends at Coca-Cola. And she fell and hit her head and missed the end of the semester.
Oh, no.
And they came in. Now, she was fine, but she had to miss the end of the semester. And they came in and they're like, you got two choices. You can take your grade right now and be done. No, not yes. I was like, can I see my grade real quick? Let me know what I'm agreeing
Well, that
to.
was your problem. Dr. Suco, is she Asian?
No, she's Cuban. Oh. She's a Cuban immigrant.
I was about to say, if you got an Asian teaching you Spanish, that might be a reason you never got done with it.
I like the way you, Mr. C, went instantly to blaming it on the professor.
That's right. No, Cuban immigrant. Her father, it's an incredible story. Her father was in the government in Cuba, knew Fidel Castro. And when he started taking power, it was like, it's bad news right here. I'm getting my family and we're going.
Right. They were pumping up that energy.
Hey, buddy, they got out in the dead of the night.
When he's in person, he's like, hey, you're going to make a great dictator.
That's right.
He'd go home. He's like,
pack it up. We're out of here.
He's going to make a great dictator.
Roll them up. We're
All
good.
right. A lot to get to here. Let's tell you about some of our great sponsors. One of them is our friends at JohnsonRVCenter.com. Listen, you get in Johnson RV Center, get out of the classroom, get into that Johnson RV, and tour America. That's where the real learning is.
I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, and you go see America in the fall. I mean, you look this weekend, we're finally getting some of those fall temperatures, so get great discounts and low payments like travel trailers as low as $145 a month. Fifth Wheels, savings over $45,000. RV warranty forever. Make sure you got that lifetime warranty on anything new or qualifying pre-owned at Johnston RV Center. See more, I-65, 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, JohnstonRVCenter.com.
And our friends at NASCAR, we go racing. You want a good camping, free camping, and then there are places as well for your Johnson RV on the infield, right there on the boardwalk. They call it the boardwalk?
The Boulevard.
Right on the Boulevard there at Talladega. You can jump on that right now and get tickets to the big race coming up October 4th through the 6th, that whole weekend. We all experienced that whole weekend this past spring, and Taylor and E.G. were out there for the first time, and they saw how much fun Talladega is. Buck and Dega on Friday night, or rodeo this time around. Jake Owen in concert on Saturday, and the big race on Sunday. Playoff races in the trucks on Friday, the Xfinity on Saturday, and the Cup races on Sunday. Get your tickets right now. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, 877-GO-TO-DEGA. We talked about football happening tonight. Buster Olney is with us at 10:30 today talking baseball. Later on, Dan Orlovsky with us at 11. Roman Harper at 11:45 to end the show, so we may slide a little overtime depending on how it goes with Roman today. Those are our guests later on, but we got it. I mean, I know we talked a little college experience here with professors. We got to talk a little baseball here in the first segment because this is insanity. Brown got his wish. He's going to get a doubleheader on Monday. They canceled the Braves and Mets game last night, postponed it, and they postponed it already for today. They're going to play a back-to-back doubleheader starting at 12:10 Central, 1:10 Eastern on Monday. It could be for a playoff spot. We'll see how that plays out. They also, if you just focused on that as a Braves fan, they canceled game 163. It will not happen. So if there is a tie, they will not play a tiebreaker game. They will go to a mathematical tiebreaker equation. Can you imagine playing 162 games?
No.
Ending in a tie in some form, and there's some tiebreaker scenario that decides who goes to the playoff and who goes home. And, oh, by the way, after that doubleheader, you're in a playoff game the next day.
There is nothing worse than a tie, by the way. Like a regular season NFL tie makes absolutely no sense. But if this comes down to a mathematical equation.
Insanity.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, and by the way,
I didn't know that part of it. I don't like that.
Yeah, by the way, Braves and Mets will play, weather permitting, the one that makes the playoffs out of it. If one of them does.
Welcome in Braves Country to the Pennant Grace. My name is Emily Grace McCorder. This is my co-host Joshua Clay Sis, went with a full government name.
Yep, I like it.
And I'm currently tweeting out
That
to
we're
the
doing
Pennant
a
Grace
show.
that we're doing a show.
Hey, by the way, everyone, no rainouts. We're doing a show.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are familiar with our area, a broadcast here in Birmingham, Alabama. I had made it up to Oxford, Alabama, fairly close to the home of Ryan Allen Brown, Sachs, Alabama. Maybe close to an hour. I had tickets, and
It's the last night's game.
I knew that it was going to be a gamble, but there was a chance to get it in. Braves and Mets, game 2.
Yep.
We watched game 1 together. We were excited. We had some momentum. That's how we want to start off with. But before we do,
Tweet is out.
good.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, got a show.
Hey, everyone.
Rain or shine, look your best regardless.
Absolutely.
You
Where
know?
can you do that at?
Yeah, you need your little doggy friend here at Roback.com. Roback.com and enter code PG20 at checkout. It's going to save you 20% off your entire order. And that's not just polos. You're going to be able to get the shorts, the skirts, the quarter
Dresses.
zips, the hoodies.
Yeah.
We are coming in hot on lightweight hoodie season.
We are.
And that's the best hoodie in the business is a Roback hoodie. Trust me on that. The hats, all the stuff, all the accessories for winter, spring, summer, and fall. Roback.com, code PG20.
PG20, use it. We love it. But what we don't love is the Braves having a doubleheader now on Monday.
So I want to start the show off with this tweet from David O'Brien. David O'Brien, writer for The Athletic, longtime beat writer for the Braves, at D. O'Brien. Brian
Great
with an
follow,
E,
by the way.
ATL. Here's his tweet from yesterday, and I just absolutely love it. I want to read it word for word. MLB moves slowly on matters that require fast, decisive action. Hurricane path known 4 to 5 days ago. Mets and Braves were off Monday. Having them start the series Monday would have reduced it to 1 game to make up next Monday. And moving today, this is yesterday's game, to noon might have enabled the whole series. I'm going to go ahead and edit the tweet slightly to remove the word might have. They could have got that game in yesterday
They
without
absolutely
question.
could have.
And you're not making anything up. You're not doing anything on that crucial off day. And
Right.
you are keeping your rotation for what you want should you make the postseason.
Right. It makes no sense from our perspective. And Buster only on the next round today, he had some insight in it. And obviously that's not a decision that you could have made Tuesday night, right? You can't decide Tuesday we're going to play early. That's a decision that needs to be made Sunday night. And as David points out, the path of this hurricane was well known. It wasn't a surprise to anyone. Now, again, Buster did say that the MLB doesn't like to be, boy who cries wolf when it comes to weather, postpone games, and it turns out that it's nothing. But with a situation like this, this is going to be an issue.
This is not a tornado.
No, it is
This is something everyone knew was coming.
Exactly.
Play on Monday.
Right.
And then you play as you did Tuesday night, and then you play an early game Wednesday.
And call it a day.
And then you have the time off with the Storms, and then you play the Royals, and you finish the regular season up when you're supposed to end the regular season.
Right, because then now you call into this whole tiebreaker situation that we can get to in a little bit of they're not going to play 163 games, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be 162 games.
Yeah, if it's tied, they'll go to the tiebreaker system that is in place,
And it's an equation.
instead of an actual game to
Right.
decide it. Now, what we're proposing here, what we would like to see done, is not beneficial to the Braves to the expense of the Mets. It's beneficial for both teams.
Exactly. And obviously, in hindsight, when the MLB could have approached the Braves and Mets, you might have wanted that Monday off. But when you look at the full scope of things, it makes so much more sense to get these games out of the way. Because now what happens, guys, on Monday, you play 2 games. If you get the wild card, you're playing on Tuesday in a playoff game.
early in the show, back when we were in Studio C,
Oh, yeah. Way back when.
not even live.
Right.
Remember that?
Not even live.
Yeah.
I was going to edit these things.
Back when
Afterwards.
powdered wigs were popular when we did the show, and we spent a lot of time talking about the broadcast situation.
Yeah.
These are linked, in my opinion, because they're failures on the part. Forget your individual team. If you're a Braves fan or whoever it is you pull for, this is a failure on the part of Major League Baseball in not being progressive in taking care of their fans
Exactly.
and growing the sport. This was again, to David's point, MLB moves slowly on matters that require fast, decisive action.
This is nothing new. And am I shocked by this? Are you shocked by
No.
this? No.
No, and that's the bad thing. So who is the big dog when it comes to American sports? And it's not even close. It's the National Football League.
Right.
Part of that is because they run it well. They make these good choices. They do make fast, decisive
They do.
decisions.
And they've also modernized, not to go, too off track here with what the MLB needs to get better on, but they've modernized the viewing experience of football. Now, with that, are there complaints that I need 15 different subscriptions to watch Thursday Night Football, Sunday, etc.? Yes. However, the games are accessible. I can turn on my TV and watch just about any game I want to.
Yeah.
Truthfully.
Yeah.
I mean, I might have to do a free trial for 14 days. That's where they're ahead of the times. When it comes to calls like this, I cannot foresee the NFL handling it in this manner.
I agree. So, come on, baseball. Let's get it together. Braves are 86-71. Of course, ended up being off yesterday and are off today. The Diamondbacks won last night. Mm-hmm. Friend of the show, Kyle Parmley, stayed up just to give good hoodoo for the Giants to win, and Kyle just ran out of good luck. Kyle, you can't do it all, bud.
We love Kyle on this show, though.
We do. Kyle was in attendance Tuesday night there at Truist. Friend of the show, Ward Smallwood, in attendance as well. So Braves 86-71, one game back of the Mets and the Diamondbacks. The Padres have secured a playoff spot,
Right.
so they are in. The way that the season now will end, you will have obviously Kansas City, who we're going to get to in a minute, fighting for their playoff lives. They will be in Atlanta for 3 games. The New York Mets will be in Milwaukee for 3 games, and the Padres will be at Arizona.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Braves will play the Mets Monday in a doubleheader.
So what also just is so unfortunate about this whole situation, and we'll get into recapping game 1 of this series, the Braves had momentum.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
Braves
Yeah.
had momentum.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where going to bed that night, you feel pretty dang good about where the Braves are at.
Yeah.
And then you have Chris Sale coming up.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the perfect storm. You take 2. Obviously, we talked about this. You want the sweep against the Mets, of course.
Yeah.
But it seemed like the Braves were on track to at least take 2 of 3. Now, this position that the Braves are in, I mean, from a managerial perspective of pitching, of bullpen, of, a lot of different things, what does it look like right now in the clubhouse?
Yeah, I don't know. And for either team, going back to that game Tuesday night, they're calling it the Michael Harris game. So we'll start with the man of the hour. He was 3 for 4.
So good.
3 for 4 with a home run and a double, and made, some really spectacular Michael Harris-like plays in the field. He's an elite center fielder, and I don't think there's any question about that. And for his youth, for his what he brings to the team is such a valuable building block for this franchise moving forward. And I've really liked him in that leadoff spot.
Absolutely. I think one thing that he has that's an intangible, in my opinion, is his energy that he brings.
Yeah.
And it was severely lacking, in his absence. But even the visual of him, the full extend to get the catch,
that's great.
the reaction afterwards, it was just incredible. So good.
So when you consider, and they officially announced Austin Riley not going to be able to return, which we all expected. Now that you have Ozzie back, I'd feel confident you are putting forward your best team on the field that you have available.
For sure.
Now, is it perfect? No. Is anyone just like real comfortable with Jorge Soler playing right field?
No, not exactly.
But we talked about this last Thursday. Soler has been really good at the plate lately. And you want that bat in that lineup. You want Ramon Laureano, who you have. So you got Michael Harris flanked by two people he won't be sharing likely the outfield with opening day next year. So Soler and right, and then Laureano in left. But those two guys, Laureano and Soler, have been hitting so consistently. You need those guys in the lineup.
And I'm not mad about that decision, especially at this point in the season. You need runs. Obviously, you need to defend well, but the Braves desperately need those runs. If they're hitting well, put them out there.
And despite a couple of bad errors early in his Braves stint, Ramon Laureano is a perfectly capable left fielder.
Yes, and I think that the problem is Braves' only impression of them, Braves fans, were those early 2 weeks of yikes.
Yeah,
it was not good.
And he's really improved since then. If you look at his career, he's been a good outfielder. Jared Kelenic is a great left fielder, but Jared Kelenick's not hitting the ball. And so you have to have Laureano in there. I think Gio Urshela at third. It is the lineup that it should be. You'd still have Whit Merrifield. I think we'll get some at-bats, and we'll get in there as well. But the lineup they had, it was a great, complete game from the team Tuesday night.
It felt good. It just felt good.
Interesting because we're watching the game, and my wife who watches games with me, the game's on and she's in the room, but
online shopping.
So she just noticed from the two of us, she said, "Wait, is this game different or something? Like, what's going on?"
Oh yeah,
because it felt like a playoff game, and I'm sure for you guys watching, it felt the same way for you, and it essentially is a playoff game at this point. Every game now for Atlanta is a playoff game. And one of the things that you and I talked about going into what is essentially a playoff game, how confident we were to have on the mound Spencer Schwellenbach. Mm-hmm. And he showed that confidence was earned.
Yeah.
He had 7 innings pitched. He only had 1 earned run, 4 strikeouts, and again, only 1 walk. What this guy is able to do in limiting the free passes, in never getting rattled, and pitching like a 10-year veteran.
Yep.
It is amazing to think. It was on no one's radar that, hey, going into 2025, I'll tell you a lock on that starting rotation, Spencer Schwellenbach. No one was saying that. And if you had put someone of the younger guys in there, he wouldn't have been the first name.
No, and that's what's so crazy about this season. If you've been with us since March when we started this, the list of names that we have said, they simply were not on this roster then.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy to think about.
Yeah, so we don't know. I feel pretty confident that Charlie Morton will retire.
Yeah.
I don't know that. And the big question, of course, is Max Fried. And we don't know what will happen. And we will cover that in the offseason.
We will.
Of course.
We'll get to it.
So it's hard to say what that rotation will look like. But I feel confident in this. Sale, Schwellenbach, Lopez.
Yeah, for
Those
sure.
are 3 right there. And that's
Strider.
a pretty good start. Oh, gosh.
Spencer
Strider, see?
And we're already forgetting.
That's 4 spots.
That are lost.
I only forgot the front runner for the Cy Young this year going into the season, Spencer Strider. So you'd probably go Sale, Strider for sure.
Yeah,
and then, I don't know, Lopez, Schwellenbach, however you want to do that. But then if you're either going to have Max Fried in that, which I feel is unlikely, or you're going to be signing someone and bringing them in. But you also still have other young arms there as well. Bottom line, very long-winded way for me to say, I feel really good about this rotation going into next year.
Absolutely. I think we talk about a lot. What is the bright spot? The bright spot is that for Braves fans, we talked about the intangibles with Mike Harris. One of the intangibles with Spencer Schwellenbach is his confidence.
Yeah.
You can't teach that.
Yeah,
that is who he is to his core.
As he's on that opening day roster, you're going to say, what have you done? You've only got 1 year under your belt. I held the team together.
Exactly.
Yeah, I came in and over-delivered on what I had to do.
Yeah.
And, this pitching staff has kept this team. The fact that we are still playing to possibly get in the postseason.
It's insanity.
Is credit to this pitching staff.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. And going forward into, whatever happens Monday, you want a guy like Spencer Schwellenbach in the rotation.
Yeah, but having... again, to that point about Tuesday, a complete game with Harris and obviously Marcel and other guys contributing, it really did feel that way. Bullpen was great.
Yeah.
Braves fans have a tremendous sense of as much as you can in those tight situations in your 8th and 9th inning as far as what your bullpen is doing there.
It was Dylan. Who was it that came in?
So obviously you had Raciel Iglesias in the 9th, and then you had regular 8th inning big guy used to have blonde hair.
Dylan. It's not Dylan Lee.
No. This
is funny.
Been there, yeah. Trying to make me look bad.
No, I'm not.
There you are.
Hold on, let me pull it up.
Women making me look bad.
No, I'm not. I'm
Story
so
of my
not.
life.
Chat room, help us out.
I was just talking about it.
I know.
By
and
name,
we're both,
I was just
blanking.
talking about.
Hold on.
So anyway, you have when you're able to have a lead, you feel good about your bullpen coming in. If you don't have the lead, but it's close, you feel good about your bullpen keeping you in the game. That's a great strength that the team has for sure. One of the things we never talk about. So we know the Dodgers and the Brewers and the Phillies. So we know those are our division winners. We know the Padres are in, and then it's going to come down to a combination, 2 of the 3 of Arizona, the New York Mets, and Atlanta. The American League.
We don't really chat about much.
Let's talk a little American League. Joe Jimenez is who I was trying to
Joe Jimenez.
think of, who's been lights out.
It's so good.
Been so good this year. Apologies, Joe.
We love you, Joe.
Yeah. So you have the Yankees, Guardians, and Astros as division winners right now. And those teams have gotten, particularly, remember the Astros had a really slow start in the season and just came on. It looked like, is that window closing? They've dominated that AL West for such a long time, but no, they did what the Astros do, and they came back and look and control that division. Cleveland has been a tremendous story all year.
We've talked about them.
And then obviously the New York Yankees. Now, right now, your wild card teams are Baltimore Orioles, who we know have been consistently one of the best teams in baseball. The Detroit Tigers and the Kansas City Royals. And you're just thinking, wait, that can't be right because you just gave me 2 AL Central teams. Yes, I did.
It's insane.
And the Twins, by the way, another AL Central team, are 2 games back. The Mariners, 2.5 back. And so there's no one else in the NL besides the teams we mentioned. Like the next closest team is St. Louis, who is maybe 7 back. So no one's close.
Right.
In the AL, you've the Twins and the Mariners, between 2 and 2.5 back. So there is a lot going on there too. Duke of Denham, El Presidente, Reed Taylor, and I talking before the show of how wide open this year feels. We're going to do a full playoff preview show, but this is going to be a fun playoffs, even if Atlanta doesn't make it.
Right.
Because it really does feel like anyone can win this. This was supposed to be rebuild for Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. And once again, they win the division. And we talked about that last Thursday, improbably for a lot of people. And just looking at some of these teams, seeing what Arizona was able to do last year, getting hot at the right time, it feels wide open.
Yes, it does. And I think that part of the fun is that a lot of these teams still have something to play for.
Yeah.
And we're, a week away from October?
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see how this all plays out. Obviously, we want the Braves to be involved in, postseason play. There is a chance that they won't be. We'll be honest. However, we will be breaking down a full playoff preview next week, and it'll be lengthy. We'll have different guests on, and we're excited to do that. So if you're an MLB fan in general, make sure to tune in then. We'd love to have you. But if you're still a Braves fan, keep up, stay in the know with what's going to shake out this October.
I asked Reed also, being as knowledgeable as he is about the NL West, about that Padres, and he's like, I really... if I had to pick, I would say the Diamondbacks in a sweep. The Padres have locked in a playoff berth. Yeah. And so Arizona fighting for their lives, they're up right now, a game on the Braves. But, there's a scenario in place where the Braves and the Mets get in and the Diamondbacks don't. And so obviously Arizona has to take care of business.
They do.
And he could see, as well as they've been playing, he could see them coming in and taking care of the Padres there in Phoenix.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks are 87-71 right now. And they did drop 3 straight. So I think that there's room there for some movement. But it's going to be interesting because it's really going to come down, especially with the Braves now playing a doubleheader on Monday. And apparently, and I want to find the exact tweet that, and it was also from David O'Brien, but essentially the synopsis was, if postseason wild card is set, the Braves will not have to play game 2 of the doubleheader.
Okay.
So that's interesting.
It is.
And I'm going to find the exact thing. But what do you make of that? Just instant reaction.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It is. The whole thing, this is where your managers are by and large, in a lot of ways, it feels like they get judged for the whole year based on once the playoffs come. There's so much pressure on pitching matchups and what you do with your rotation, both not only like who you start and how much rest, and also how long you leave starters in, that stuff. Everything gets under this big microscope of things.
So Snitker said it was his understanding that if Monday's second game isn't needed for postseason purposes, if the picture is already finalized after game 1 of the doubleheader, then the Mets and Braves wouldn't play the second game Monday.
That's odd to me.
That's very odd. And he was also asked, or Snitker said he was not asked about possibly playing the games at a neutral site or last Monday on team's mutual day off. As for playing at 11 a.m. or earlier Wednesday, he said, no, hell no. And then he said it started running by 1 p.m. or 1:30 anyways. I don't know.
You'd at least gotten one in on. There's no excuse not to play it Monday.
Right. And he says that he was not asked about possibly playing the games at a neutral site. And at a neutral site, it's like, why?
Start the game at 11 Eastern.
Right. Because there was a game this season that started at what? 11?
It was pretty early.
Yeah, it was a Sunday game. It was on Fubo TV. Or maybe it was on...
Of course it was.
Yeah.
There was a lot of, little things like that this year. There's so much in baseball and in life that is in flux, and you don't know where to turn to. But thank goodness fashion doesn't have to be that way.
Thank goodness.
www.roback.com. Code PG20 to save 20% off of your order. And as we have rain here and as we have temperatures dropping a little bit, I'm just going to, again, specifically plug that lightweight hoodie.
It's so good.
You will not regret that purchase.
Lance Taylor was wearing it today. If you want to match Lance, he's wearing a lightweight Roback hoodie. They also have game day collections, and that's a really cool, unique thing that Roback does. Very team centric. You can get gear. They have great team colors, as you're seeing right here.
Team centric, but it's still kind of like
subtle.
It's high, and it's high end stuff. It's a real good look. Looks great at the tailgate. Looks great in the game.
Yeah, we do have to give a shout out because it's someone's birthday today.
It is somebody's birthday today.
What? It's not our birthdays.
It is not. The other Money Mike.
Yeah, the other Money Mike. Money Mikey. It's his birthday today.
It is his birthday.
24.
24 years old.
Guess what he got for his birthday? He got a Roback shirt.
Look at that.
I know.
What a good girlfriend you are.
I know.
Yeah.
What can I say?
I thought his present was that you were going to stay his girlfriend.
Oh, I mean, that's a gift every day.
That is. Good job, Mikey. Happy birthday, buddy.
Woohoo! But that's going to do it for us here on the Pennant Grace today.
Yeah, thanks to Lionel. Thanks to Scott Forster for taking good care of us here. A lot up in the air.
Yeah.
And we'll see kind of how things go. And we'll keep you informed. If you're not following, make sure you're following us at the Pennant Grace on all social media, specifically on Twitter, where a lot of the ins and outs of we're going to go live, we're going to do something special is for sure going to get posted there first. And we'll kind of see how all this goes. Everything's up in flux. We'll see what happens. We're hoping that you can take care of business against Kansas City, and then we see where we are at come Monday.
Mm-hmm. And let's plan to do something Monday regardless.
Okay.
Whether that's, because what time was the first game scheduled for?
I don't know, but it'd be kind of early. But we will absolutely check in with you.
We'll be doing
Monday.
something, whether it's a live check-in during the game. You guys enjoyed that. That might be the best play there.
There you go.
And then we'll go from there, depending on what the Braves are up to. But as always, we love to have you, Braves country. And until next time, we're the Pennant Grace.